All right, night two, 10/24/18, Ascent Amphitheater, Nashville, Tennessee. Uh, Tier 2 show. Not, it wasn't a terrible show. Not a whole lot compared to night one. Stood out for me on this one. I will say, setlist wise, I mean, it's fucking perfect. I would honestly take all these songs in a heartbeat, other than Farmhouse. But I think it's just a Farmhouse phase I'm going through where I don't give a shit about it too much right now. Uh, Soul Planet opener, so I don't know. Like I said, I've kept hearing something about Soul Planet and Fall Tour. There's a major Soul Planet that comes out. I thought it was Hampton. Never got played. Got played here. Glad it. Definitely welcome it as an opener. Not the strongest Soul Planet I felt. Um, I don't know if this is supposed to be the Soul Planet for Fall Tour. I've heard people talking about last year. I don't. Hopefully not, because that's the case. Well, this one's kind of a dud for the hype I feel like it had, but whatever. I mean, still great opener. As far as compared to the opener night three at Dick's, I'm definitely. I think most people will take night three at Dick's. That was definitely a little bit more of a banger. Uh, this one had more of a chill funk vibe in it though, so nothing wrong with that. But still, I think Soul Planet's one that when it's a banger, it fucking hits hard and hits really well and fits well for that song for a jam. I mean, still a solid jam overall. Um, Being in an opener, I was like, well, we're probably going to get Screaming Through Space quoted throughout the night, and we did. Uh, I was like, hey, I kind of would rather have that than listening to fucking Still Waiting from Crosseyed, 10 fucking songs in, and still hearing that shit get quoted, throughout the night. We do get Cross-eyed in the second set, so they definitely got quoted a lot, but I don't know. Some nights they don't quote it other than just the damn song itself, and some nights they gotta drag that shit out 20 times in a span of like two songs, but whatever, not my band, whatever. Uh, Segue into 2001, so surprise, we're doing 2001 in the second spot. Soul Planet about space, 2001 space song. A bit of a space theme tonight. I kind of felt like at times. So definitely super early for that. Had a Screaming Through Space quote in this one too. I no surprise there. I figured yeah, 2001. We're gonna get that one coming in. Uh, I'm definitely down. Hey man, songs about space and shit. I'm definitely down for Phish. To keep doing space songs and writing about space. I'm definitely down with that shit. Definitely try making big plays on the rig early in this one. A couple monster plays coming out of him. Uh, Short one, clocked in under 7 minutes. So a little bit different to get that this early. It's like waiting at 5:55. Honorable mention for Soul Planet. I don't know if I said that, but also honorable mention for 5:55. Feel like I haven't heard this one in a while too. Um, it definitely a great choice as well. Good spot to have it right after 2001. I feel like it's a good enough, song where it slows it down, but then when the jam kicks in, it can get pretty hard at times. Page Good Keys on the solo part really stood out with me on that one. Trace tone wasn't heavy, but it was real crisp on this one. I felt like something a little bit unique. Uh, Unique way to describe it. Definitely crisp, but a little bit more than clean to polished, maybe. I don't know. Just something about the tone wasn't heavy, but it definitely stood out to me a little bit more than just saying it was clean. Uh, Felt like he had good intentions with the rig, but I was really hoping it was going to get heavy and dark. It kind of did, but I kind of felt like compared to some other 555s, had it had a little bit of nip to it, but not enough of a bite. Uh, you know, Still good enough for honorable mention at least. I got to give it at least credit for that. hoping he was gonna go heavy on it, but like I said, a little bit of a bite, not too much of a, or a little bit of just a nip, not too much of a bite, so a little bit of a taste. The vibe in the jam, I was like, oh, I was like, kind of feel like, I mean, if I was Matthew McConaughey and still going into the black hole, I'd probably, hit this jam. This is probably one of the jams I'd have on the list. So definitely describe it as being swallowed into a black hole vibe. um, Sounding a farmhouse. I don't know. It's not that I hate Farmhouse. I just right now, for some reason, just don't give a fuck that they're playing Farmhouse. I don't want to hear it. I honestly would rather they don't do it and roll the dice and get, Water in the Sky, fucking Tila. I would rather risk something else coming out. Hell, even and I didn't know. It's just I'm that fucking against Farmhouse for some reason right now. Going through Phish right now. I just don't want to fucking hear it. It's not doing anything for me. It's definitely the most chomper of chomper songs, but I mean, it's I think it's the one I. It's definitely like the one song I know that got radio play out of any other shit ever in their studio albums. I'm sure there's been a couple other songs that have made it on the charts, but I think Farmhouse is basically the clear like breadwinner as far as him making anything on the charts. Uh, it was really soft and quiet too in the jam, so kind of a dud. Uh, Halfway to the Moon, I was definitely excited for this one. Nothing too much to stand out on this one for me, so no honorable mentions or MVP for this one. Still, always welcome to hear it. Great choice. Again, space theme, moon, space night maybe. I don't know. Definitely love the Page on Energy's piano solo. That definitely was the big highlight for me. But otherwise, the jam was solid, but not enough for me to give it more for honorable mention. Other than I can't just get. I feel like I couldn't give honorable mention just for Page's part because it's so small. And overall for the jam too, just solid, but not too much anything there for me to brag about. I will say I definitely said it's one of my favorite Page's songs of all time. Definitely one of my favorite uh, beats that Fishman plays too in a song. I don't know if I've said that before, but it's definitely those two are definitely one of my. It's definitely a favorite song for either of those two. Waste. So we got a Farmhouse and a Waste in a first set. Always Welcome Waste, definitely. Kind of surprised they played it this early, really. I definitely prefer it in a second set, but I mean, if we're going to get it, that's fine with me. I'll rather take it than not get it, but surprised we would get a Farmhouse and a Waste um, with only a one song gap. Nothing fancy to write home on this one. I mean, I love my Waste like fucking the Magnaball Waste. I like it hard and heavy. 2015, 2016, rigs set up like it really dark. I mean, most jams I do like them hard and heavy and dark, but it was still chill. Got a chill vibe for this one. Still a clean. Uh, I don't want to really call it solo part because it's always the part in the jam. I guess once they get into it, that Trey just lets go and just rips it. Starts shredding, but I felt like wasn't heavy or anything. It was very clean though. My friend, giving this one an honorable mention. Not one I think I really give out a lot of honorable mentions or MVP2s when I usually hear it, but I was actually like, yeah, normally I'm kind of on them picking this one, but I definitely was glad I got segued out of Waste. Made an appearance. I was actually down to hear this one this go around. Mike was definitely bumping in this one. Great peak. Had the birds guy screaming, or the chilling throwing guy that screaming that Page does on his little sample thing. I think they kind of, I think it's one that he's done it a couple times. I feel like for 2018, the shows I've heard, I feel like I don't know if it's something he's doing all the time now, or if he was and I just didn't realize it. But I don't. I think it's something he just started maybe this year or something. I don't know. I'm not exact on that, but I don't definitely think he hasn't been doing it too often. Might be something he's just starting to do. Might be hearing that all the time. It's okay with me. Um, got the Mice ending. If you want to know that little detail, Maze, definitely great choice, great spot, great way to. I was kind of like, well, we might have one more song after this. Otherwise, if they're gonna close it out on Maze, definitely a solid choice. MVP for Maze. Built up the energy from. I kind of feel like wasn't. I want to say there wasn't a lot of energy in the jams. A lot of it was just clean and chill. Nothing balls out. So I felt like there was a lot of pent up energy. Here's a chance for them to just lay it all out and just go balls out in Maze. Mike definitely caught me on this one, stood out for me on this one at parts. Oddly in the beginning for sure, and then oddly enough in the beginning, I managed to pick up John's actual bass pattern on the soundboard, which I was surprised. I was like, I don't know if I've ever heard his bass pattern for this song ever. Very rarely I can ever manage to hear it on the soundboard. It's whatever. So, something I caught on the beginning between Mike and him. Page wasn't as, playing, wasn't, going crazy on the keys in his part, but, a little bit more laid back and controlled, and I felt it definitely fit well with the night and definitely fit well with this jam. I still, obviously, him going crazy is probably the best, versions of Maze, but I think most people would agree with that. But, hearing him kick it back, and coming out with something good, with a good pattern on his end, I thought worked real well. Just real chill and groovy on his solo. Trey diddling around, not doing too much, but then, eventually it built into a good peak. Trey, takes over. Phenomenal peak, strong peak like always. Then we get Bathtub Gin. I was like, at first I was like, I kind of felt like I wanted a hood instead of a gin to end the first set. But this one definitely was a top 5 gin for me. MVP, first set winner. Really phenomenal one. 18-minute gin. But, that's a little on the high end for as far as times for gin. You'll get, 18 minutes is pretty high for a gin. But definitely worth it. Definitely worth it this go around. I was on board with Page's Keys before I went to a tranquil part with from Trey and Mike. Trey came out on the rig. I was surprised we would get the rig on this one. I mean, not surprised that it would go with the song and be so great of a fucking gin, but definitely Trey brought out the rig on this one, so it surprised me a little bit to hear the rig on gin. Definitely fit in perfect with their tranquil vibe going on in this gin. Built up a little, then Trey kicked it down a little, and Page came back on and played real solid on the piano section. Phenomenal build up out of the Tranquil Jam, and just really liked the Tranquil Jam, and then how it went right into the build up and how the build up felt. Even had a little bit of a late rig appearance on the jam. Did not expect to hear it that late in the game as well, so definitely one of the reasons why this one stood out for me, and definitely just a monster jam out of the rig. So like I said, top 5, and definitely first set winner. Down with Disease opener, really cool sound on Mike's part, opening it up, and then going into the opening chords for it in the song part. The intro of the jam was really solid and fast. Definitely very high tempo disease. Rick came on a little bit briefly, nothing too fancy. Uh, Page had good keys to back it up, definitely. Um, for the most part, right as the jam got into it, I felt like it was definitely just reminding me of it dropping into. I don't know the show, but I remember it reminding me of, maybe not the disease specifically, but a jam where it dropped in the Piper. So it just kept reminding me of that one, and I was like, oh man, it sounds like it could drop in the Piper any second. So I was kind of holding my breath to see if they were going to drop in the Piper. Got atmospheric, definitely. I'm trying to think if I thought that this was the most atmospheric jam of the second set, but I can't think back that far. That's unfortunate, but definitely it got atmospheric. But that was more so, I would say it was more so because of Page's end. It wasn't really so much Trey and Mike, it was more so just Page's key selection more than anything. Then it got super spacey for a little bit. Trey was definitely experimenting with the sounds on this one. Might be the most experimental jam of the night on his end. And as far as the group in general, like Todd didn't say too spacey for long, because sometimes I feel like they do drag it out sometimes, and sometimes it's not that they're not dragging it out. It's just it's just like, all right, something's got to, please, start doing something. I just get antsy, get too anxious and waiting for something to happen. So I liked how this one wasn't, real spacey, just wasn't, like Hampton Night 1, just wouldn't even get super into it. It was pretty short, little, short and brief, but, I liked it how they did it with this version. Kept, and the thing too was the segue into Crosseyed. Great energy from bringing it over from the beginning of the song into the jam with that spacey part, keeping it short. Still had the energy and still able to bring it over into Crosseyed. MVP for Crosseyed as well. Excellent choice. Definitely matched the tempo of Disease, so I was glad to see this one. Totally dug Trey shredding before the Still Waiting part. It was definitely shredding it right there in that part. It doesn't really usually, I feel like, doesn't really shred it that hard, but definitely went hard a little bit in that part. Great use of the rig overall as far as the jam went out. A bit heavy on the tone on his end. Then we segued into Sense and Subtle Sounds. Definitely surprised me to get this one. Definitely an MVP, Sense and Subtle Sounds for sure. Strong opening on his tone, on Trey's tone into this one. Well, not just him, just also Mike and Page. Just overall, it was a real strong tone overall in the sound with everybody involved, not just Trey. Super quiet and atmospheric, definitely. Then Trey came back and just shredding and just immediately started going into a Run Through the Jungle, which of all the teases and shit, this one definitely was a favorite for me. Love CCR, but definitely to hear this one in Sense and Subtle Sounds was definitely totally out of left field. Definitely totally down with what they were doing with this. So very big surprise on this one. Definitely one of the reasons why this one's MVP. Actually going to give it second set MVP because of the great use of a tease, great choice of a tease. One instance where a tease, was actually really fucking cool to hear and have them do. Of course, we get the Still Waiting quotes in it. Then we get a Party Time quote as well, which I was like, at one point was kind of just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. We get Run Through the Jungle, now we're getting Cross-Eyed quotes, now we're getting Party Time. So a little bit lost in what they were trying to go with all three of that in a row, but still, for the most part, had my feet on the ground, knew what was happening. At that point, can't do anything about it but go with the flow, but still. Tone got heavy and a little dark there at the end. Second way to No Man's, MVP for No Man's. Little weak on the. I felt like it was a little weak compared than usual when they dropped into No Man's. A little bit weak. I don't know, just I feel like it's usually hits it and hits that groove and hits it hard. Not so much on this one. That's okay. Still have room for, you know, a big No Man's jam to come out. The rig sound on this one that he had going is my favorite rig sound as far as the 2018 setup he has. Definitely my favorite, so I felt like it definitely fit well with this No Man's. Strong peak and great finish overall. Get a Boogie on Reggae Woman. Nice to hear that one. Definitely welcome back. Little bit of a surprise to see this one too coming out. Page definitely came out on the jam more than everybody else. Definitely a quickie one. I think it clocked under like 5 minutes, so definitely a quick one. And then we get a Hood closer, so I was like, oh well, hey, I kind of wanted it in the first set, but you know we got that gin, so that's okay. You know we'll get it in the second set. Definitely in the mood for Hood. Definitely got super quiet after the Thank You Mr. Minor part, so definitely a little bit chill, quiet vibe on this show. Mic sounded definitely good in this one for me. Definitely stood up for me. As far as the jam peak and everything, you know, nothing special for me. But at this point, I was kind of, usually at the end of the second set, I kind of realized I'm a little bit burnt on hearing Phish for fucking almost 3 hours now. I mean, even the Antelope Encore, I was kind of like, is at this point, I kind of realized, all right, I'm probably just going to take a week off and just start going through, start actually putting Dead shows on this fucking channel and doing Dead reviews. I did Dick's 31 a couple weeks ago, so I've been kind of itching to do another Dead one. So I think I'm going to go through the first 5 Dick's picks. I haven't been using Spotify lately, so paying for it, I might as well use it. I got all the Dick shit on there, so I might as well start going through those. So I think that's a great way to start doing Dead stuff, is to get into the Dicks. So I'm definitely gonna take a little bit of a break from finishing Fall, but I believe it's after this one we got let me check it. We got 3 Illinois shows, an MGM Halloween show, Cast 5. Gotta go through all that. And then 3 more shows in November after the first night of MGM. So I'm gonna definitely finish those out, but I'm gonna take a step back. Nothing special, no honorable mentions or MVPs for Antelope. Still definitely had some gas left to, do a Hood and then do Antelope following up after that. Definitely still some gas left in the tank. I felt like overall in general, Trey's tone was a little bit slightly heavier for an Antelope than usual. Of course, still waiting Crosseyed teases in this one. No surprise there, I guess, considering how often it was getting thrown out there tonight. So, I said Tier 2 show, definitely one that I was going to say a Tier 3 in the sense that, yeah, I would go back and still listen to this show, but then after thinking about it after lunch and listening to it, I was kind of like, compared to Night 1, I said, Night 1 definitely was one I would go back and listen to a lot more than this one, so I was like, because of that, I'm going to drop into a Tier 2 slot. Still better than a 1. 1's, 1 I ain't fucking going to go back ever. I mean, it probably will, but it'll be years to the point where I fucking forgot about the damn show, other than my review and notes, and just be like, all right, well, I haven't heard in, God knows how many years, so I'll give it a shot. But So, taking a little breather from Phish. I'm gonna get back into some Dead. With Neil passing this week, might throw on some Cats, maybe try to do a Cats one, but I don't even know how the hell I can do a Cats review. That one's basically just rating it out of 5 stars, and that's more of a tweet than an actual review than anything to put on YouTube, but oh well. So, I got high hopes for Illinois. I think Illinois is going to be a good run. Hopefully that Soul Planet comes through on Illinois, but we'll see. So, until next time.